Welcome back to H-Lot Gaming. This week in Godforge, episode 13. Let's take a look at a Discord quote-unquote leak. Alright, I was going to add this at the end, but since my videos do not have the longest watch time, I will cut it in here. The big takeaway from everything this week with all the videos and leaks and etc. is the beta, the ability, if you see my mouse in the upper right, the ability to sign up for the beta is ending very soon. By the time this comes out, you'll only have a couple of days left. So if you just clicked on this, you're just learning of Godforge, you can see right here how good it's going to look. Click this button right here to join the beta. That's it. That's the most important thing for this week. All right, on to the rest of the video. Okay, I had to re-record this part. Apparently I had my screen zoomed in all funny so you guys couldn't see it. But as you can see right at the top, it says April Fools for Robin Hood. So clearly a joke. We've heard Simon and I think Dan talk about their feelings towards Robin Hood, that he's kind of a joke, at least over in the UK. He's not really the folk hero he is here in the United States. So that makes sense why they would use it as April Fools. The artwork looks very good though. So a lot of effort for an April Fool's joke, so maybe this will actually be used for a character as far as like an initial design, but it won't be Robin Hood. Maybe it'll just be some generic archer or something. But let's get to Tuesday's video. All right, let's take a look at a couple models in game. I will say first off, Ra does look different. I don't know if that's because they changed the lighting on him or his coloring is different, but definitely looks a little bit different if you go look at past videos of him. I did look over here while he's scrolling through because he shows this combat in a minute. I didn't see any new portraits. I may have missed some, but I didn't see any, so it doesn't appear that any new characters have been created other than the one he's about to show for this build. All right, here we got Oda Nobunaga. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Warlord Daimyo. I'll get to what faction he is in a second, because he'll show the map, but I just wanted to show this off. Looking pretty good, right? That I forget what you call those kind of masks, but that looks pretty cool, right? This is a legendary, so it makes sense that he looks that good. So next he actually shows Beset. I don't think this guy's any animations yet. Yeah, he doesn't. But we'll get to Beset, who does have some, so we'll take a look at that. Oh, I didn't notice his shoulder pieces before. Look kind of, I don't know what those are. Those almost look like hyenas or something. They're not, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, looking pretty good, pretty good. All right, let's take a look at Beset now. She does have animations. If you played Elder Scrolls Online, I think this is what we kind of wanted the Khajiit to look like, and they did not. But good for Godforge for giving us what we wanted. All right, here we see that the Kojiki are now called the Izumi, if you see my mouse sort of in the upper right part of the screen. And we also see, I believe it was Selba, Celba, now called the, I don't know how you said, Omiacan or something. I don't know. And then I'm not sure what this is called. T, is that an I? Maybe an R? I don't know, an L. But this is clearly the Jade symbol for the faction, so its name is changed as well. Everything else appears to be the same unless I'm missing something. I don't think I am. All right, let's take a look at the little kind of combat he shows us. Okay, here we're going to see the enemy team, Musashi and Guang Yu, against our Guang Yu and King Tut. First, we'll see Musashi attack our Guang Yu. And then now, the reason he's doing this is to show off sort of the camera work that they've been working on. He calls out Dirk, who's been working on it. So we'll see this slashing technique, and then we'll see the similar attack from the enemy perspective. Now King Tut is going to attack. A double hitter. And then Musashi again with the big single attack. So we do see King Tut's ultimate skill is now highlighted here. He turned that on in between the cut in my video, and there was one in his as well. And we do see the B skill is now highlighted, but I'm not sure if this is the B skill or the ultimate, but either way, let's take a look. It's pretty powerful single target attack. And you can see some negative effects there on Musashi as well. That looks maybe like a bleed, picture of a heart. I'm not sure what that one is. All right, next we'll get to John, who's been working with Dirk on some of this, I don't know what you want to call it, camera work, VFX, all of the above. And he shows off how Ra actually kind of enters a stage, at least from a boss perspective. I don't know when you have him as a playable character if he does the same, but we'll skip and take a look at that. Okay, I actually am letting it play here. I can't move my mouse, but if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see it says Display 1 iPhone 11, and this is the fidelity we will get, I believe, in iPhone 11. I only point that out to point out that an iPhone 11 is not a new device, and if I'm understanding the way this program works correctly, that is at least the level of quality we would still get in an iPhone 11. So that's pretty great if you're trying to get into the beta and you have an older device. I know mine is not much newer than that. In fact, I believe I have a 12, so it should work great on that as well. All right, let's skip to the final animation now. Okay, so he turned on some different, what he called tracks. You can kind of see him down here. That'll track where the character is, and we'll just take a look at his intro. So that is how Ra will enter stages, and we'll actually cut to that in a minute. It's a part of the tutorial, it looks like, and we'll take a look at that. But that's what it briefly looks like. And now let's take a look at what I think is his ultimate skill, if I'm recalling correctly. Okay, this looks pretty cool. Pay close attention. In this right here, it looks like it is hitting a single target based on how the characters are reacting. But then when we see the little clip from the tutorial later, we see all the characters die. So I'm still not sure if this is a single target attack or a multi-target attack. I'll let you be the judge. Yeah, see, only that character there reacts to being hit. These aren't. I don't know if that's because they're just placeholders and don't have any type of movement built into them yet. And then we'll take a look at that now in the little tutorial part that Simon shows off after this was all gone through. As you can see in the upper right corner, we're in the tutorial now, and we're going to see Ra come into the stage to fight the characters. There you go. That's what it looks like in game, looking spectacular. I actually want to pause this and read through this here since it is something we haven't really seen in the tutorial. I don't think it gives anything away. I've already read through it. Still you persist, foolish mortals, you are nothing. Ramses, your reign ends. We all feel the power of the divine radiance now. Oop, what's that? Divine radiance? Is that a leak? Could be. Brunhild will snuff out your flickering light. Godling. Interesting. Your flickering light. Light is usually something good, not negative, so interesting there, right? Flickering light, feel the power of the sun. Then he does his ultimate. You'll see everyone dies. Yeah, see, everyone went down with that first hit. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a one hit or a multi-hit. Okay, and then it looks like here you choose your name and possibly your starting hero. All right, that was about it for the Tuesday's video. Let's get to Thursday's podcast. All right, on this week's podcast, hosting we got Simon and Sham and the long-awaited guest. I think a lot of people have been waiting for Serena Bell. Okay, so spoiler alert for the big thing if you're wondering. No, there's no mention of when the full track will come out. They did talk about that being worked on, but it's not out now. So if that's really what you're wondering about this interview, you're going to have to wait some more. But they start off with talking about, is she a gamer or not? She does say she played Diablo a little bit, but her main game is Call of Duty. She grew up in Brazil. She said she's half Brazilian, half Swiss. She said at one point she wanted to do motion capture stuff to try and get into games. And Simon asked, why didn't you really pursue that anymore? She said, well, singing is really my main passion. I want to focus on that. And, as much fun as that other stuff would be, it takes away from singing. She said she gets, very focused on something and kind of obsessive and wants to get good at it. So she decided she had to really focus on singing so she didn't sort of take her own time away. She said too, she grew up as a very shy kid. She used to sing in front of her family, it sounds like, but she said she would have to hide behind the couch when she did it because she was so shy. I guess she just didn't want her family to even see her while she was doing it. So kind of funny now to be a creator on social media, kind of gaining notoriety that way. And then obviously that's how the team at Fateless found her. She said she really started to improve with her singing when she got old enough to work jobs herself so she could get money and take lessons. She said that really improved her singing. She described it as being able to control her instrument better. She could sing in specific ranges, is what it sounds like to me. I don't know a ton about singing, so I may be saying this wrong. But she could sing at specific ranges without, making her throat hurt, which means she's doing it correctly now. Whereas in the past, it sounds like maybe her throat would be sore when she tried to do certain things. So she's fixed that. She says her first real viral hit was Valhalla Calling. She did say, too, she actually recently met the writer of that song. I have heard that song. I honestly don't know too much about her. I did check her out when they announced her, and that was actually the first song I found and listened to, and I thought it was very good. And then besides that and the Fateless song, honestly, I haven't really listened to too much, but she is very good, so maybe I'll get into it. Related to that, she does say later in the podcast she'll have her first single coming out in September, so I'll check that out. So then they start talking about, how they actually went through making the song, or rather, they called it a preview of a song or something of that nature for the cinematic. And this is one thing I was actually wondering about, if she wrote it kind of based on a storyboard they had to hit like those specific points. Obviously, if you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. Or if they kind of made the trailer to fit her. And it sounds like from what they talked about, it was sort of both. They did give her a general idea of where they were going and showed her some stuff. And she tried to write to it, but then she also says, they edited it in a way so it fit perfectly. So it sounds like it was kind of both. Then they tell sort of a funny little story about Sham actually calling her the first time. And it was while he was at the rock gym, and she says, why are you out of breath? And like is asking him these questions, and he has to reveal that he's, working out. And I guess it's a bit of a joke at Fateless because Sham talks about, despite all the rumors, I do not call meetings at rock gyms. And then he tells that story where he actually made a call from the rock gym. So kind of funny there. Oh, and then after that, so Sham's kind of embarrassed a bit, and he tries to prompt her to sing, and she starts laughing and says, well, I'd have to warm up to do that. So we don't get to hear her sing, if you were wondering. You didn't miss out on that. I will link to her channel down below so you can check out, though, some of the stuff she's done so far. And then at the end of the podcast, they talk about what's her favorite character, or what character would she like to see in the game, like they ask everyone. And it gets kind of interesting here. I won't post the video or play it. You can check it out for yourself. It's at the very end. But she says Lady of the Lake. And then Simon does pause for a second, and she comments, that was a long pause. And they do admit, if we had her, it would fit well with the Avalon faction. And Sham says some stuff like, we can't really say if we like her or we don't like her because that might reveal too much. So I think she might have stumbled onto a character they already have in mind and might be working on. So that was kind of interesting there. And they finish off, giving out her socials, and she says, again, her first single will come out in September. And that was about it. It was a very interesting podcast. Not a ton about the game itself. There was a little bit, about how they did the trailer, and it was more about her. She's a very interesting person, up and coming singer. Go check her out. And that was about it for this week. Okay, thanks for watching. I don't honestly expect a lot in the next coming weeks as far as leaks go. We are supposed to be getting to the beta soon, so they're probably spending a lot of time fine tuning that to make sure they get tested what they want tested. They did give us another leak for next week. I haven't checked it out yet. From what I've read in chat, it does seem like there's some good stuff in there. So there'll be a April leaks video, and then this week in Godforge again, like always. And thanks to those who've subscribed, I hit my goal of one a week for the past 4 weeks, which is also kind of a milestone for me. I'm up to 30, I think now. And instead of trying to get one a week, I think my next goal will be to get to 50. I guess if I do decide to stream on YouTube for the vertical format, you need 50 subscribers. So I'll just make that my next goal. But thanks for those that have been subscribing and watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.